Good evening, one and all. Myself, Professor Naveen, Department of Civil Engineering, NITTR Kolkata. Today we have one more eminent expert, Dr. DIPAL. He's a basically academician come industry expert. Before introducing him, I want to say very important quote that will applicable to him. He is the man of sustainable energy. The quote goes like this: everything we make pollute, the most responsible thing we can do is to make each product as well as we know how it lasts as long as possible. By Yoon, the founder of Patagonia. This is. So now I like to introduce our today esteemed speaker, Dr. Deepal. He is a dynamic academician and consultant with expertise in green and environmental auditing, renewable energy system, bioenergy, and mathematical modeling. With a PhD in energy technology from Tezpur University 2020, Dr. Deepal has dedicated his career to advancing sustainable energy solution. His doctoral research focused on developing a decision support system for decentralizing energy generation using biomass gasification. Dr. Deepal is the founder, director of Transition Research Consultancy and Training Service established under the National Innovation and Startup Policy initiative of Tezpur University. This organization provides technological transition research consultancy and training services. He has served as a principal at Girji Anand Chowdhury Institute of Management and Technology and held leadership role including head of mechanical engineering department and dean academics. Prolific researcher Dr. Deepal has authored numerous peer-reviewed publications in leading journals, contributed to international conferences, written book chapters on bioenergy system. His research has explored areas like artificial neural network modeling and renewable energy planning. As a consultant, he played a pivotal role in projects such as developing a smart platform for renewable energy promotion in Assam under the State Innovation and Transformation Ayog. Dr. Deepal internationally collaboration includes serving as an academic visitor to the University of Nottingham, UK, and acting as an international external examiner. A recognized educator, he has contributed to the development of self-learning material for renewable energy programs and has delivered invited lectures on renewable energy planning. Dr. Deepal's dedication to the academic quality assurance and his multidisciplinary expertise position him as a leading figure in sustainable energy, research, and education. With this introduction, now I request Dr. Deepal to deliver a talk on 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Sir, now it's over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naveen, for that elaborate introduction. I am a simple man. I don't know. You've given a very prolific introduction, but I'm a simple man. I'm working in the area of renewable energy. Our startup, as you can see, TRCATS, that is Transitioning Research Consultancy and Training Services. We are into renewable energy, basically focusing on bioenergy, with focus on biogas technology and also solar energy. We also provide research consultancy and training services in sustainable practices. So, as the title of this today's lecture is 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. And this forms a basis for the title of the faculty development program, this 6-day Atal FDP on waste to wealth innovation. And everything that we are talking about, there have been lectures in the past 3 days, and also some lectures coming up. So all these lectures, they revolve around this conversion of waste to wealth, and the hidden concept behind generating wealth out of waste. It revolves around these three principles: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Although now this terminology has been extended, some speak about 5 hours, some speak about 7 hours, but in essence, these 3 hours, reduce, reuse, and recycle, they are the basis on which this waste to wealth innovation is centered. So you see, when we look at the perspective of this wealth, we can see that around 2 billion tons of municipal solid waste are generated globally. And most of this municipal solid waste, it is not treated or not used in an appropriate manner. And as such, there is an underscoring and urgent need to adopt effective waste management strategies that are associated with this huge amount of waste that we are generating. Now, how are we creating this waste? So, this creation of waste, it depends upon the consumption pattern of the customers. So, these customers are at different levels. They have different requirements. And based on these requirements, there are various sources at which this waste is being generated. Now, if we see that the unused portion that that is there, say your consumption need was 1 kg, and your in the course of use, you have seen that around 800 grams of that particular material has been used, and this 200 grams now you are left with, and you do not know what to do with it. So that is one way in which this waste is being generated. Again, the delivery of materials from the producer to the end user, it requires some packaging so as to transport the waste in transport the commodity in a safe manner. So that packaging itself is a source of waste. Okay, so there are different perspectives on which we can dwell upon, and we can see that this source of waste is at different levels. And accordingly, if we want to use this waste for creating any useful product out of it, then there are certain principles that are to be followed. And I'm repeating myself, these 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle, they form this so this 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, they form the basis for this waste to energy or waste to resource pathways. And if we see, we are all talking about sustainable development, and this sustainable development is very, very important. Sustainable development means taking care of our own needs without compromising the ability of the future generations to take care of their own needs. So, in that respect, we have a very, very important role in order to understand and in order to develop habits and practices so that we can contribute to this sustainable development. And in that regard, minimization of waste generation is the central point. We have to conserve the resources, and most importantly, while doing so, we have to promote a circular economy. Now, this circular economy concept that has been deliberated upon in the previous lectures. So, this circular economy means everything that is being generated, we are using it in a cycle and we are not wasting any part of it. And in that regard, these 3 R's, they play a crucial role in terms of conserving the energy, in terms of fostering the economic growth, and also in terms of developing sustainable waste management systems. So you see, when we talk about circular economy, as you can see in this slide, so there are different points at which this raw material is being used in the design stage, in the production stage, in the retail stage, in the consumption stage. And after consumption, we have the reuse and repair stage, and the collection of the residual waste, and also recycling of the waste. Now, in that respect, if we take the processes after consumption, that is reuse and repair and collection and this recycling. So the most important and most essential thing that is to be practiced in order to utilize this so-called waste is to have a proper segregation at the source of this waste generation. And you can see that with proper source segregation, that is the most vital component in order to have this approach of circular economy practically. So source segregation can be practiced by having a clear understanding of the different types of waste that we are generating, what are the properties of those waste, and accordingly characterizing them and assorting them into different sections so that you are collecting these different types of waste in different so-called, if we see at the household level, in different collection bins. And this is the most essential part. Again, I am repeating myself in order to have this sustainable development through circular economy. And this is something that we should start practicing even at our household levels. What we are currently doing is that the waste that is being generated at our households, we are just dumping it all together into one trash bin, and then we are just leaving it for others to segregate it and use it if they want to have some energy or resource recovery there. Although there are examples of many municipal corporations which have implemented this source segregation at household levels at very effectively. We will look into some of the examples some of these examples in which this source segregation has been achieved to a very good level. Now, when we see at the waste management hierarchy, then we can categorize this waste management in different sections. The top green ones being the best use level, and the bottom red is the worst level. So the first thing that we can do is reduce and conserve the materials. We can adopt the practices of refuse, return, reduce toxics. We can implement design practices so that we can design out the waste. We can reduce the consumption. We can reduce the packaging. Then after that, we can encourage cyclical use of resources and shift incentives to wasting of this incentives to stop this waste generation. Then also we can have the manufacturers design the products for sustainability and take back. After doing all this, we can then reuse, in which we retain the value and the function of the commodity that we are considering it to be a waste by some refabrication or some some innovative approach in order to retain the value and the function of the product. After that, the next stage is recycling, where we separate out the inorganic components and the organic components, and we can use different pathways for recovery of this resource and energy through these inorganic and organic fractions. And if all this fails, then we should regulate the disposal, and at the bottom of it, if we cannot do anything, and that is the last resort, we send it into the landfill. So when talking about waste, one prominent thing that comes into picture, and people are always talking about this source of this waste, that is our plastic. And this has the plastic that we are using, it has detrimental effects on the environment, it has detrimental effects on the society, the economy, and most importantly on the human health. As you can see, about 1 million plastic bottles are purchased every minute. Any questions? Any questions from the participants?
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Please continue, sir.
Am I audible?
Yeah, now it is audible.
So around 1 million plastic bottles are purchased every minute, and up to 5 trillion plastic bags are used annually. And half of all the plastic produced, it is intended for single use. That is the single use plastic. And around 40 million tons of this plastic waste is generated each year. Around 36% of all plastic produced is used in packaging, including single-use items for food and beverage containers. About 85% of that ends up in landfills or as uncontrolled waste. And about 98% of single-use plastic products, they are fossil-based. So you can just imagine the gamut of the problem that we are facing in terms of the plastic that has become essential for us in our everyday life. And this is a very scary picture. So you see, as I was talking about plastic, this recycling of plastic, it is possible up to a certain extent. And if you see at the plastic water bottle that you are using, or the cold drinks that you are consuming, on that you will have some recycling codes, 1 to 7. So these codes, 1 to 7, they represent different kinds of plastics. Number 1 is PET, or polyethylene terephthalate. Number 2 is HDPE, high density polyethylene. Then number 3 is polyvinyl chloride. Number 4 is low density polyethylene. Number 5 is polypropylene. Number 6 is polystyrene. And number 7 is categorized as others. And these type of plastic, those are basically used in preparation of these baby feeding bottles, or car parts, or the sippy cups that we use. Now you see, depending upon this, excuse me, depending upon the nature or type of this plastics, there are different characteristics. Say for example, number 1, that is polyethylene tetrahydrolate. Recyclability, it is commonly recyclable, but annually only 36% of this number 1 coded plastic is recycled. It takes around 5 to 10 years for decomposition of this number 1 type of plastic. And it has a high toxicity level. And the most commonly used leached toxins, they include things like antimony oxide, then bromine, then lead oxide, then nickel ethylene oxide, and benzene. Then number 2, the HDPE, it is also commonly recycled, but annually only 30 to 35% of this HDPE plastic is being recycled. And you see, it takes 100 years to decompose HDPE if you are ensuring the perfect conditions for this decomposition. Toxicity, if you talk about, it is relatively lower. The commonly leached toxins are chromium oxide, benzoyl peroxide, hexane, and cyclohexane. If we talk about PVC, it is very seldomly recycled, less than 1% annually. You can never decompose PVC, and it has a very, very high toxicity level in terms of these leached toxins. LDPE also, it is sometimes recycled. It takes 500 to 1000 years to decompose LDPE. And it is the leached toxins, they have a very high toxicity level. The polypropylene also, It is occasionally recycled, annually about 3% throughout the world. Decomposition time is about 20 to 30 years, and it also has a high toxicity level. Polystyrene, it is recycled, but that recycling process is a bit complicated, but it is being practiced, and around 34% of this polystyrene is being recycled annually. The decomposition time, if left in perfect conditions, is around 50 years, and this also has a very high toxicity level. Similarly, the all other plastics that are coded as 7, including this acrylic, then fiberglass, nylon, polycarbonate, and polylactic acids. These are very difficult to recycle, and majority of these plastics can never be decomposed, even under perfect conditions. Barring this polylactic acid, which decomposes in around 6 months, and it also has a very high toxicity level, releasing toxins such as BPA, BPS, as well as other toxins. So you can see and just try to realize what menace this plastic is turning into, and the urgent need to do something in order to minimize the use of this plastic. So when we are talking about these 3 R's, so when we talk about the 3 R's, the first thing that comes to picture is reduce. We must try to reduce anything that we do not need. If we do not need anything, we should not take it. So reducing means using less, like using few of the items wisely, reducing the use of the plastic bottles, or you can also reduce the amount of plastic by buying products with less packaging. So it normally is that it is all about cutting down on waste from the start. So this reduce means not buying too many things in the first place. It's all about being mindful of using the resources wisely so that you don't end up all these things in a landfill. So this example was given in one of the earlier lectures, and I am repeating it. Say for example, when we are going to the market, why can't we just use some reusable bag or container for shopping? And in doing so, we are contributing to this, the first of the 3 R's, reducing. Okay, we use this reusable bag for our groceries, vegetables, and fruits. Why can't we use some reusable containers for this meat and fish that we are buying? Because you won't be very happy to have this meat or fish being transported through your reusable bag. You use separate reusable containers for it. Okay. So that is one example how we can ourselves practice the concept of reduce. And this strategy of waste reduction, if we try to get an overview, so this waste reduction can be done by using the concepts such as sustainable product design, in which we are implementing eco-friendly designs to minimize waste generation and enhance this product longevity. Reduce the use of single-use items. Encourage the avoidance of the disposal products to reduce the waste output and promote reusability. You optimize your procurement. Maybe you can do some bulk purchasing so that you are reducing the packaging waste and the overall resource consumption. So this bulk purchasing, I'm talking about products, the characteristics of the products which allows for this bulk purchasing, the shelf life. Okay. Also, we need to have stringent policy measures which are enforcing regulations such as the bans on single-use plastics or in order to drive this substantial waste reduction and promote sustainable practices. On paper, we are having different regulations which are banning this use of single-use plastics, but in practical, what we see that implementation is still lacking. So in this regard, I think the administration has a very crucial role to play in order to enforce such regulations, and not only imposing fines. Fines can be a deterrent, but my personal thinking is that instead of placing in a deterrent, if we can place some incentivizing measures, then I think this implementation becomes more effective. Then next of the 3 R's, that is reuse. This means using things again and again instead of throwing them away. And there are a lot of creative ways with which you can use these things in your household levels. For example, you can use the old cardboard boxes to create some DIY projects, or as you can use them as storage containers. And this not only saves the money, but also reduces the number of boxes that end up in the trash. Another example of reuse is using an empty glass jar to store leftovers instead of throwing them away. So this way you give the jar a second life and reduce the need for new containers. So these are some just very basic examples that I am sharing with you, in which I am trying to emphasize the concept of reuse. So strategies for reuse. This reuse has to be implemented right from the design stage, in which the design has to be on the basis of durability. Say, for example, the different household gadgets that were used in earlier times, like the old ceiling fans and today's ceiling fans. What we can see is that in some ancient heritage buildings, some fans that were produced 30-40 years ago, they are still running. But the ceiling fans that we are installing at our households nowadays, they hardly run for, say, 10 to 15 years. So that is the concept of durability that I'm trying to emphasize. and which has to come at the very first product designing stage. Next is extending the product lifespan. We have to focus on increasing the longevity of products through innovative reuse methods. So this concept has to be inculcated. There are various methods by which we are increasing the longevity of the products by reusing them, by retaining its function. And you can see n number of such examples. You can, if you Google or you use YouTube of for seeing how innovatively people are reusing these products. So these are some examples. Then also creative repurposing. We should encourage imaginative ways in order to repurpose the items, and that way we are promoting sustainability, and also we are reducing waste. Consumer engagement is another aspect. We have to empower the consumers to participate in practices like repairing, donating items which are no longer useful for you but may be useful for others, and also trying to use or adopt second-hand items which serves your purpose instead of buying a new one. So that is debatable, and maybe many people won't like the concept of utilizing the second-hand products, but that is one area in which we can work, and we can implement this concept of the other concepts of design durability and product lifespan extension, so that people happily use these second-hand items. And the last of the 3 R's, if we cannot reduce, we cannot reuse, then we go for recycling. So recycling is basically the process of collecting and processing materials like paper, plastic, glass, so that they can be turned into new products. It's a way in which we can give old items a new life instead of sending them to a landfill. So this recycling, it aids in converting waste materials into new products, subsequently reducing the need for extracting raw materials which might be required in manufacturing these new products. So this recycling, it involves different steps. The first, as I already told you, it is the collection, then sorting, then cleaning, and then processing. So this recycling process, it involves sequential steps, including this all these other processes like collection, sorting, cleaning, and processing. I can see some drawings on my slides. Is it? I don't know. I am not doing it.
Abhijit, can you look into this matter, please?
Sir, please disable this function.
Abhijit, you just look. Can you look at which candidate is doing?
Okay. you please look into it. I will just continue. So this recycling concept, it encounters different challenges, such as the contamination of these recyclables and also the fluctuating market demand for these recycled products. And these aspects, they impact the efficiency and sustainability of these recycling initiatives. As is,
Excuse me, sir. Sir, can you reshare your slide so this mark will be going?
I will reshare. Okay. Okay. I'll have to stop presenting and then.
No. Again,
Just close it
reshare.
and open, sir.
Okay. Okay. I think it is.
No, sir, it is still there.
It will be there, no? Okay, no issues, no issues. So you see, there are different challenges to this recyclability, and
Sir, you have to stop the presentation. You have to again reshare the presentation, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir, please. Reshare your PPT, sir.
Yes. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
that's
it
fine.
is visible.
So, as I was talking about this challenges in terms of recycling, so it is evident from the different uh, percentages of recycling that I have shown you worldwide for the different kinds of plastics. And these are some of the issues that are related to this recycling. So, as I told you earlier, I will try to give you an example, share with you some examples of this whole concept of reducing, reusing, and recycling through some case studies. And these are sourced from this very beautiful report, the Waste-Wise Cities Best Practices in Municipal Solid Waste Management by Niti Aayog. I have just taken some examples and I wanted to discuss on that. So the first concept of source segregation, I want to highlight the work that was done in Alappuzha, which is a city with an extensive network of canals, and it is quite densely populated. And this Alappuzha, it generates about 56 tons of waste daily. That is around 311 grams per person per day. So while clogging of water bodies due to excessive dumping of waste is a problem across India, it was particularly accentuated here. So the Alappuzha Municipal Council has distinguished itself by its success in source level segregation coupled with decentralized waste management. And for this sustainable waste management practices, this Alappuzha city, the Alappuzha Municipal Corporation, it received recognition from the United Nations Environment Program in 2017. So you see here, the success of this source segregation, it involved the citizen participation. And again, the citizen participation, it was ensured by providing notices to around 48,000 households across the 52 wards of this municipal corporation, and ward level committee meetings were done monthly, and zonal meetings they are arranged every 2 months, and various awareness programs are conducted by organizations like the Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishad, KSSP. Here the waste collection is done through a door-to-door method by a woman-run self-help group, that is the Haritha Karmasena. Non-biodegradable waste collected monthly from households and weekly from commercial establishments. So they've created material facilities, around 32 mini material collection facilities. They collect non-biodegradable waste, and there are 4 centralized material recovery facilities which process this waste. And there are 36 aerobic composting units that handle the biodegradable fraction of the waste. And they are producing around 9 tons of compost daily. And the biomedical waste that is being generated, it is managed by the Indian Medical Association Goes Friendly organization in Palakkad. And in this, excuse me, and in this municipal corporation, the door-to-door collection efficiency was around 76% or 76% coverage. And the households, 100% of the households, they were segregating this waste. And they were able to process around 84% of this collected waste, both in terms of biodegradable fraction and also in terms of the non-biodegradable fraction. So this is a very beautiful example by which we can highlight the success of source segregation that is being practiced. The next aspect is material processing. I would like to take the example of this Dhenkal area in Odisha, which generates around 23 tons of waste daily. That is around 276 grams per person per day. And this proper management of waste is very important to the district so that it can protect its fragile environment while holding on to its role as a center for culture and markets. So this area, it is famous for the different fairs and festivals in Odisha. So material recovery has proved to be an answer for them. It has reduced the pressure on the dumping ground because smaller quantities of waste is being dumped, while also reducing the pressure on the natural resources, as most of the waste here is being recycled and reused. So this collection and segregation, sanitation workers, they report to assigned local facilities daily with biometric attendance. Their attendance is monitored through biometric systems. Tagged vehicles collect waste, and Swachh Sathis, they monitor the source segregation. And then the waste is transported to decentralized facilities. They have come up with 5 micro compost centers which handle this biodegradable waste. And aerobic composting, it converts this waste into organic manure, and it is branded as Mo Khata. and it is being sold throughout the state of Odisha. Then the material recovery facilities, they handle the non-biodegradable waste, and manual segregation is done into recyclable and non-recyclable fractions, and the revenue from selling the recyclable materials, they support this material functioning of these material recovery facilities, the management and the self-help group members. The non-recyclable part of this waste, EcoCart, an organization, it collects around 150 tons of non-recyclable, non-biodegradable waste monthly, and it sends it to BARUAH cement factory, where it is used as a refuse-derived fuel. And the cement factories, while using this waste, they also earn incentives through the Green Tribunal. So there is there are provisions by which if say for example a cement factory which is using fossil fuel replaces some amount of this fossil fuel with this refuse-derived fuel based out of waste, then they get certain incentives from this Green Tribunal. The non-recyclable plastic waste, it is processed into durable PVC paver blocks, and they are being used for, they are laid for construction of these roads and platforms. So this is one very good example of material processing of this waste. Another example I am taking in order to emphasize the use of innovative models. This example is from Panchagani, which is a small hill station in Satara district in Maharashtra, and it generates about 7.2 tons of waste daily, which is around 484 grams per person per day. So the pollution tax that is levied on these visitors, it powers the town's efficient waste processing and recovery. So some pollution tax they are levying on these visitors that come to this hill station, and they are, and it is ably backed by home composting and an excellent IEC program. With help from Center for Science and Environment, the town's municipality has also developed a set of bylaws as per the Solid Waste Management Rules 2016. So this municipal corporations, they have this power so that they can set some bylaws in order to promote this waste management at the municipal level. So here they have used the concept of 2 bins, 1 bag system, in which each household they are given 2 dustbins. One is for biodegradable waste and the other for non-biodegradable waste. And sanitary and hazardous waste are collected in bags. Okay. So they are not mixed with the biodegradable or the non-biodegradable waste. So basically, the waste is being segregated into 3 streams at the source. One is the biodegradable fraction, one is the non-biodegradable fraction, and the other is the sanitary and the hazardous waste. So these there are collection vans which transport this segregated waste. The waste workers, they segregate into non-biodegradable waste into 8 different streams, and different bags are used for this secondary segregation. The cleanliness supervisors, the health inspectors, and the Swachhagrahis, they oversee this whole process of collection and segregation. And if they observe anything wrong in the process, they promptly try to correct the process. So some moderating teams, they assist those facing difficulties or queries in this process, and they have also come up with a toll-free complaint number in which one can launch any complaint that they are having with respect to this process. So these Panchakani Municipal Corporation bylaws, they impose fines for non-segregation, and various CCTV cameras are installed in order to enhance this surveillance. And if there are any littering offenders they find, they make sure that they take a photograph of this offender and they share it on the social media page. So this is one innovative model through which waste segregation is being practiced, and we can take these examples and implement them in our own areas and help in this process of waste management, invoking the 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle. So if we try to summarize what I have discussed so far, so we can reflect on the understanding of the significance of this reduce, reuse, and recycle concept, which is very, very crucial. We should reflect on our current practices and their impact on the environment. So that is very, very essential. We must now try to act and implement suitable strategies and commit to reducing this waste, then reusing the materials, and at last, if reduction and reusing is not possible, then at least recycle the waste properly. So in order to sustain these 3 R's, we need to promote the 3 R's within our community, because if we make little efforts and we are imbibing these concepts into our own communities, and it is being replicated at others, so that is the way in which we can say that collectively we'll be able to achieve this sustainability or the perfect implementation of this circular economy. So we should aim for this long-term sustainability and conservation of the resources. And this is the humble submission that I have for all of you. You please try to inculcate these practices, which I am sure as academicians and educators you are already doing, but you please reach out to other people or try to create or act as resources so that you can disseminate this knowledge to others, and in the long run contribute to the current need of the hour, that is sustainability. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation today. Thank you all very much for your patient hearing, and any points you would like to discuss, I'm open for discussion now. Thank you so much.
I request participant, if you have any question, please interact with Dr. DIPAL. I request participant, please, if you have any question, at least drop your question in chat box. And also I request participant, we already shared the today's attendance link for this session. Please fill it.
This is Abhijit Banerjee. Your chat inbox is disabled for now.
No. 1 minute. Abhijit, can you look into that? We have not made disable. 1 minute. Participant, please try to interact if you have any doubts.
So if nothing, then I think we can.
Okay, I think you don't have, participant won't have any questions.
Like,
I request participant, please fill your attendance. Okay, Abhijit, you can stop recording. After 10 minutes, again, we will be joining for the next session. We have next, one more professor is there, Manasvi Bera. Our session is going to start after 10 to 15 minutes.